So the title of our research is the preliminary results from the PM mobile monitoring pilot campaign in Boka Kotorska Bay. We assessed and estimated the PM levels and observed modes in onshore and offshore area. This was a common research of the researchers from the Institute of Nuclear Sciences from Vinča and staff from the Faculty of Maritime Studies from Kotor. The background of the research, I'll present some facts. During the last 10 years, the blue economy in Montenegro was mostly concentrated on the cruising and nautical tourism sectors. This directly resulted in the development and modernization of several maritime ports and marinas on the Montenegrin coasts. The most important one is definitely the Port of Kotor. From the aspect of the air pollution and anthropogenic emissions of particulate matter in the Bay of Boka Kotorska and Port of Kotor, the dominant economy sector is definitely transportation, including there the road and maritime transport. In fact, there is also the contribution of the air transport, but it's on the other side of the Vremac Hill. Besides, Kotor municipality is classified also as a high fire risk area, especially during the summer season, and it should be also taken into consideration when the concentration of particulate matter is analyzed. Port of Kotor is situated in the southeastern part of the Boka Kotorska Bay, within the Bay of Kotor, and it is the one of the most attractive cruising destination nowadays. Some of the reasons are for sure the challenging geomorphology, some unique natural environment, warm and temperate climate as well, and also rich cultural heritage which is protected by the UNESCO. What are the main reasons for this study? Definitely because of the maritime navigation activities generate huge amount of different waste categories, including also the air pollutants. Recent research studies showed that in the coastal urban areas, ships emit up to the 15% of the total suspended particles in the ambient air. In the case of human impacts, it is estimated that up to the 60,000 cases of cardiovascular and pulmonary diseases of the local population in the European and Asian area is definitely caused by the high daily and annually concentration of PM levels. Those elevated levels of the air pollutant definitely can influence human health and well-being, but also can degrade the ecosystems, damage both natural and cultural heritage. Therefore, the characterizing of air pollutant in coastal area is of paramount significance, and it was also the first step in the mitigating of the detrimental influence. There are some statistics about the development of the Port of Kotor in the few previous years. You can see here on the graphs that there is a lot of cruise ships entering.
We don't see
Port
your
of Kotor.
slide. Can you please move to the next slide? We still see research backgrounds.
I moved it. And I can see it on my screen, but okay. For the moment, I cannot see the full screen. Is it shifted? It's not?
Yes, it is shifted, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Maybe because of the connection. The Port of Kotor is located in the vicinity of the old town of Kotor, approximately 500 meters, and the old town of Kotor is the best preserved medieval Mediterranean city. The infrastructural capacities of the port includes two main berths. The first one, which is on the seaside, and it's the biggest one with a total length of approximately 200 meters with a maximum draft of 8 meters. And the second one, which is on the river side with a total length of approximately 150 meters and the half less draft comparing to the first one. Also, there is possibility, and it is sometimes visible in the Port of Kotor during the summer season, that we have in the same day, in total 5 large cruise ships situated in the aquatoria of the Port of Kotor. Because besides the berths, we have designated 3 anchoring positions, which allow that largest cruise ships entering the port. Since the global pandemic situation, COVID, Port of Kotor was ranked as the 3rd major cruise port, in the Adriatic Sea. But since the pandemic began, you can see the great decrease of the number of cruise ships entering the Port of Kotor, and it was approximately in 2020 only 9 ships with total 300 of passengers, which is comparing to the 2019 approximately like we don't have any kind of visits of the cruise ships, for instance. And in 2021, from January to September, we had 44 calls with approximately 5,500 of passengers. The mobile monitoring was realized in the framework of bilateral project implemented by the Institute of Vinča and Faculty of Maritime Studies from Kotor within the program of scientific technological cooperation between the governments of Montenegro and Republic of Serbia. The representative of the University of Montenegro and the Institute of Vinča developed strategy and organized measurements with a mobile equipment in the area of Boka Kotorska Bay during 19th and 20th of August 2017. During the first measurement day, the measurements were focused on gathering the information on PM levels and their size distribution all around the bay, with special attention on the nearby sea area, Port of Kotor area, ferry line.
Radmila, can you please change the slides?
I change it. Sorry.
We're still on materials and methodology.
But it will.
I think
I'm explaining this part.
If I may, I think, Milos,
Okay.
there is something wrong with your connection because it shifts for me.
Okay, I'm for the moment on the explanation about the methodology. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Yes, it's okay.
Yes. So the first day was focused on a specific area and mapping all around the Boka Kotorska Bay, while during the second day, the measurements was realized nearby berth during the hoteling phase of cruise ships. And during that day, we had in total 3 large cruise ships. One of the largest was approximately 80,000 of BRT, and it was situated on the berth 1. We did the measurement by the small boat all around the ship, and the aim was to analyze the level and size distribution of PM at sea in the Port of Kotor. So I'm shifting on the next slide. Can you see it?
Very slowly. No.
Yeah, it's changed.
Okay. Measurement instrumentation setup included, in fact, the PM concentration for particles diameter from 10 nanometer to 420 nanometer in 13 size channels, detected using TSI nanoscan. Another one was the PM concentration particle diameter from 0.3 micrometer to 10 micrometer in 60 channels in total, which are recorded using TSI optical particle sizer. And the all measurements gathered were georeferenced, and colleagues from the Institute of Mincha delivered us the 3D visualization graphs. Some of the key results of the study enable us insight into levels and size distribution of particulate matter in the ambient air of the Boka Kotorska Bay and Port of Kotor. In addition, it was identifying some local hotspots. This type of analysis provided us additional insight into dominant modes in terms of both number and mass concentration. The study resulted in the generation of emission profiles, which are recorded during the vehicle and the small boat campaign. More specifically, we deliver a set of figures related to the recorded PM number concentration and mass concentration in previously mentioned campaign. So you can see on the slide, I shift it and I suppose that you can see it. Here are some preliminary results of the day, of the first day of the campaign, which show us that the highest level of the number concentration, more than 4,000 particles, were captured in a part of campaign in Dobrota, Stari Grad, Škaljari, Motrčanj, Lepetane, Morin, and Perast. More of them were more than 400, but some of them crucially get a peak of more than 7.5, approximately 8,000 of particles. Identified peaks are gravitating in the area from around 100 nanometers to around 500 nanometers, which is estimated like a condensation mode. It corresponds to the accumulation or nanoparticles, which are mostly constituted from the sulfate, nitrate, ammonium, organic carbon, elemental carbon, heavy metals, and fine geological particles. The main objective of the overall research, which is done in the wider period, was to try to find the correlation among the maritime operation in the Port of Kotor and gathered data about the ambient PM concentrations. In fact, with analyzing the preliminary analysis of these identified modes, we can assume that there is a significant influence from the maritime operations, more specifically from the combustion from cruise ships. Also, some preliminary results for the day 2. The largest values of the number concentration obtained from the campaign with a small boat, more than 3,000 of particles were captured 4 times during the campaign, and all of them, all the peak values were in the vicinity of berthing area and also in the vicinity of the old town Kotor. Also, peaks are gravitating in the same area like those one captured the day before. There are some thoughts and ideas for the future research. Some preliminary findings from the emission profiles during the mobile campaign could lead us to suspect significant effects of exhaust emission from cruise ships on the increased level of the nanoparticles in the ambient air of the Port of Kotor and Boka Kotorska Bay. Some future research should address identified limitations, such as mapping of other anthropogenic sources of emission in the Boka Kotorska Bay and Port of Kotor area, which could locally emit peak values, like fossil fuels burned. Also, it could be recommended to expand the monitoring campaign on some real-time measurements and to engage some additional resources like low-cost sensors, or to analyze direct correlation with maritime operation data, to compare it also with the meteorological information available, and so on. I would like to thank you, and I will invite you to ask if you have any questions or to give us some kind of recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Radmila. I must be very rude and forbid any questions because we are running. We ran out of time 40 minutes ago. So, thank you, Radmila, once again. Now we will close this day of the conference. I give word to Milena. She can announce day 2, and that's it. Thank you, everyone. Thank everybody who participated in this poster session. It was, I feel, productive. Feel free to contact anyone which research you find very interesting or engaging or aligned with your own research. Thanks again, and now to Milena.